Hey guys, welcome back. Here we are, Chapter 8, E.G.O, E-G-O, and you'll understand why that is an acronym as well, but here in a moment. But what I want to talk about a little bit is, obviously we've just gone over what is, how tradition can be hurting our business, how the lack of recognition of opportunity can be holding us back, and now I want to talk about how ego kind of plays into both of those. And I was recently asked to write down a few things that I believe were holding me back from my success. So I wrote down 3 words, and I created an acronym for that as well, and it was called FEE, F-E-E, Fear, Embarrassment, Ego. And the reason I wrote that down is that you're paying a fee every time you succumb to fear, embarrassment, ego. And the best way I can describe how this works out is I read a book called Think Like a Freak, and it's from the authors and podcast hosts of Freakonomics. Awesome book and podcast. If you get a chance, listen to it. It's about just kind of the weird statistics that people kind of don't understand and don't even think about really, but they kind of throw it out there. So that was I had fear of embarrassment that would lead to a hurt ego, and that kind of is what made me hold back. Even writing this book, putting things out that maybe somebody wouldn't agree with. Maybe they didn't understand what I was trying to say, and I had to get over that and be like, okay, whatever. I can't pay the fee. I need to put that aside, remove the ego, and get this going. And in that book, Think Like a Freak, they talk about the World Cup level soccer, World Cup soccer, that during penalty kicks. So a penalty kick is basically either at the end of the game with a shootout, or you get fouled in the box, and there's a PK where you see just the ball set on the dot and one guy kicking, and it's you and the goalie, like one-on-one, mano-a-mano, going after it and trying to score there. So the data, it's super weird, because if you think about, you get up there and you go, all right, which way should I go, right or left? And then you understand, all of a sudden you realize, you go, okay, but there's a 7% chance, higher chance, that I would score if I shot directly in the middle, directly at the goalie. And the reason being is because 98% of the time, the goalie dives right or left, right? So if he does that, he vacates the middle. So 98% of the time, there's no one in the middle. Yet, only 17% of players at that level will take their shots directly to the center. And the reason why? You have a better chance of going to the center, but their ego, their fee, they're paying the fee. They're worried that they have the fear of embarrassment that will lead to their hurt ego, and then also maybe even playing time. If you're playing the World Cup level and your country is super into soccer, that could be the difference between you being a hero or you being the GOAT and not playing anymore. Like that, and so you would rather, and even the fans too. The fans would rather you miss right or left, because you go, oh, that's where it's supposed to go. He just missed. He was on the right spot. But the reality is, it would be the right down the middle is the higher percentage shot. But if it was one of those 2% of the times where they stayed there and you got blocked, you would look like a moron, and the fans would let you know. Absolutely. So that kind of brought me to, when it comes to new opportunities, where our ego will get in the way and we'll pay that fee, and we'll go, you know what, instead of going center, even though it's a higher percentage shot for me to score or have success, I'm going to go over here just because that's, everyone else would do that, and that's the comfort of where it's at. So this actually is probably one of the most important chapters in the book. And the reason that I say that is because this is kind of the turning point. Like, you can understand who I am, where I'm coming from. Yeah, tradition can do all this stuff, but this kind of puts you right into the spot where it might be decision making time here coming up on what are you doing. We discussed earlier. I wanted to open up my own brokerage. The $10 brokerage. The story of that crushed my dreams to open a brokerage. There's no way I was going to do it, but I still knew that I needed to go from a single output mentality strategy to a single input, multiple output strategy. And the reality is that I found out how to do that, and I could do that by partnering with someone, and I could also do it while lowering overhead costs and risks significantly. So pretty much this book is written for me almost 3 years ago. Like, this is what I needed to hear almost 3 years ago, as you know what? Put your ego aside. This is what is available to you right now. You have the opportunity to take advantage of this, and you can start, instead of becoming a franchise owner or a broker or your own broker or moving into property management or anything like that. This is your opportunity right now to basically to move forward into something that wasn't available to me 3 years ago. Before 3 years ago, I was on the old model. I was doing family traditions. I was tradition until I saw this, and then it was time to move on. So I want, in order for you to move on, if you're going to move on in these videos, if you're going to move on in the book, maybe you're catching up on the book in this spot. This is kind of the spot in the book where you're going to be challenged to answer some questions honestly. And it's a couple different questions, and it's also going to be another acronym where you're going to see E.G.O and why it's important. So I'm going to use a whiteboard for this. Reach down. So, I mean, obviously, as agents, we all, for the most part, at some point, don't want to just be real estate agents for the rest of our lives. Like I said, typically life cycle is we become brokers or we become property managers. But for the most part, people want to be brokers, right? Eventually, you're going to want to become a broker, right? So after being a broker, or while you're being a broker, there's something that you're going to have to do. In order to be a broker and grow your business and grow your company, you are going to have to recruit what? Correct. Agents. Right? So become a broker, recruit agents. Sorry about my writing. I'm not very good at that. But why do we want to become brokers, and why are we recruiting agents? Number one reason, you want to have ownership, right? Or you want to become an owner. But you want to own your company. You want to be able to be the guy who gets to eat the most, right? Who gets fed. So the big thing here that I want people to understand is that in order to have ownership, we need to recruit agents while we're brokers. But in this scenario, for the rest of this book, and for the rest of these videos that go through this book, and to understand the semi-retired real estate agent and how that identity operates, we'll have to agree. And please, if you don't agree with this and you want to close the book now or stop the videos now, feel free, because the people that I'm looking for to join me on this journey are people that can do this. That they can basically remove the ego. And if you can't remove the ego, then you're gonna have a really tough time continuing to grow in the way that I'm looking at. Again, I'm not looking for everybody. I'm looking for people who share the same mindset as me and want to build alongside me. And that's what this book is about. That's what the semi-retired real estate agent is about. So again, I'm going a little bit long on this one. This chapter is one of the longer ones in the book, but I'm going a little bit further because I really want to drive home that I'm looking for people, not people that are just interested, but people that are committed in not only bettering themselves, but bettering the agents that they are going to be partnering with as well. So I just wanted to leave you with that. Sorry, drop that one. But as we start to get more on the technical aspect of this, you're gonna have to remove the ego, and the main reason is I'm gonna start talking about things that go against traditional models, that go against what you're used to seeing or hearing in traditional models. So just want to let you know, here's your chance. If you want to opt out and say, all right, Brandon, I'm out, check it out, feel free. Because we're looking for people that are going to be open, going to understand that tradition is not always the right way to go. The people that are going to remove the ego, most importantly, and understand that there's an opportunity here, and you have the ability to it's presenting itself right now. It's your choice to decide on if you are going to recognize it or if you are prepared or willing to act on it. So remember, those are three things. Take the ego out of it. Next chapter, we are going to understanding the old model to give you an idea of how things are being flipped around a little bit. So I'll see you on the next chapter, chapter 9.